That the West understands democracy.
No, that's the problem. I'm not anti-Western. I'm against the bad things that were done by the Western countries.
You're not anti-Western, and yet in June '03, before you left office, you said Anglo-Saxon Europeans essentially are proponents, and I'm quoting here, proponents of war, sodomy and genocide.
Which is true. You must admit.
But you're not anti-Western.
I'm stating the fact. This is their character. And I will continue to say so.
So when you come here you sit in the Hard Talk studio in the heart of London, you regard yourself, do you, as in one of the headquarters of war, sodomy and genocide?
Well, I come here, of course, expecting to be lambasted by you because that is the way you work.
Well, I'm not lambasting you at all. I'm trying to tease out whether you believe it was a mistake for you to use this sort of language, because you clearly cut yourself off from any sort of meaningful dialogue with the West when you used these words.
The Europeans used to call us the lazy Malays, incompetent Malays, untrustworthy Malays. We couldn't say a thing about you. So when I was in a position to say what we think about you, and I said it, and you don't like it, when you said it to us, you expect us to like it. We didn't like it, but we had no way of making our voices heard.
I'm just wondering how you feel about democracy. Of course, in the world since 9/11, the United States and a coalition of partners led by the United Kingdom have talked a lot about spreading democracy. Do you believe in democracy?
If you look at the history of the West, they come up with all kinds of ideologies. They use it for some time and then they found it defective and they drop it and start on another. One day they are going to forget about democracy, because in some countries democracy actually ended up with anarchy, and there were practically no governments. It's not a system that can fit everybody. You must have a certain understanding of the limitations of democracy in order to make it work.
Is that why you were not a Democrat? Why you, in the end, did behave like a dictator?
Well, that is something that the West would like to say about me. I'm a dictator.
Well, I'm just quoting your own words from 2002. You said, it's good governance people need. You said, feudal kings, even dictators, have provided and can provide good governance.
That is very true. That is very true.
So why disguise your real feelings? Why not just say to me, yes?
The great civilizations of the past did not have democracies, and yet they became great. It's not necessary that the system will work for everybody. But if you have a bad leader, even the democratic system would fail. You must remember that it is a democratic country which dropped atom bombs, killing 200,000 people.
How do you think the Malaysian public will respond to you saying, look, you know what, democracy isn't the best system, and in fact dictatorship can often work better?
I went through 5 elections, and I won all the elections with a 2/3
without a
majority.
free press, locking up many of your opponents.
That you go again about locking up many of my opponents. Who were they?
I don't know how many times I have to tell you that I've studied the Human Rights Watch reports, the Amnesty International reports, studies from the State Department, from the Canadian government.
These are biased reports. The first thing I did on becoming the Prime Minister in 1981 was to release political prisoners who were detained by my predecessors, 22 of them, including many members of the opposition.
And the 1984 press law, which required newspapers to get a new license every single year, made it very easy. Made it very easy for you to quieten them down, didn't it?
No, it is there. It has always been there. The press law has been there because
you
we live in a country.
You know you did.
Oh no, I didn't. I didn't do that. But I don't know where you get your information from. But the fact is that we have a multiracial country. And if we are not careful, there will be racial flare-ups. And you look at most of the countries with a multiracial population, they are never peaceful. Even Northern Ireland, it took you such a long time to stop the war in Northern Ireland.
Talking of peace, you did worry about the stability of your country, didn't you? That's why you were very strong, very tough with Islamist extremism inside Malaysia.
Yes, it is necessary.
Well, I just wonder in that case then, why just before you left office in October '03, why did you tell the Islamic Summit Conference that, and I'm quoting again a very famous speech, it's a little bit long, but 1.3 billion Muslims cannot be defeated by a few million Jews, you said. We're actually very strong. The Europeans killed 6 million Jews out of 12 million, but today the Jews rule this world by proxy. They get others to fight and die for them. You went on to say, but the Jews have become arrogant, and arrogant people, like angry people, will make mistakes, and there may be a window of opportunity for us.
I'm stating facts. I'm willing to say that again and again that this is what has happened.
Anti-Semitic and racist, that was called by many governments
this
and
idea
people
about
around the world.
anti-Semitism is created by the Jews themselves. We cannot say anything. In fact, journalists have been arrested for saying something against the Holocaust and jailed for 3 years. Where is the freedom of press?
So those words I quoted, in your view, are not anti-Semitic?
No, they are not anti-Semitic. I'm just quoting facts. The fact is that the United States obeys what Israel wants it to do.
You call them facts. Let's leave that aside for a moment. I'm trying to understand your logic. Here you are, a man who says that your own country is potentially destabilized by Islamic extremism, and then you go out in an Islamic conference and you use words which could have been used by Osama bin Laden.
There's no contradiction. No contradiction at all.
Well, forgive me, but I see a major
I don't want
contradiction.
Islamic terrorism any more than I want Jewish attacks against Israel or American bombs on Baghdad. It is not incompatible.
Do you feel confident that people still listen to your message?
Well, I wouldn't be able to say.
In Malaysia, people
Why
say...
should people worry about me?
In Malaysia, people say, and I'm talking about the Prime Minister, the Leader of Opposition, it is time for you to be quiet.
Why should I be quiet? You mean to say when they are doing something that is wrong to my country, and I should not say anything? I would be irresponsible if I were to do that.
Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, thank you very much for being on Hard Talk.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Perjuangan kita belum selesai kerana hanya yang cekal dan tabah dapat membina beritu tanda